and welcome back to Darvanalee Designs Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reid, and today we are here for my weekly Stitch with me. We're going to continue on working on Snow Village, so let's get started. Welcome, no matter where you're watching from. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while I work on my cross stitch. As I said in the intro, we are working on Snow Village. We are continuing on with the frozen hot chocolate shop. We are almost finished this block. This only has probably about another 50 stitches, so I should get it done, except for the back stitching, done while I'm talking to you today. And then if we've got time, we're going to move on to the next block, which is called Popsicle Cart. So that is a cute little chart there. So let's get into it. All right, so we are here to work on the Snow Village again, and we're just about finished. So you can see I've got all the bits and pieces. I've got a couple of little bit of green bits to do up here, but I'll do them when I'm doing this next one. I didn't want to start another one, and I was right down here and I only had a little bit left, so I didn't worry about it. So we've still got to put the back stitch in here, and there's a little bit of back stitch on the cups. When I do some more white, when I get close to the end, I'll use a little bit of a scrap and do the white bits on there rather than starting up a whole new piece, because I'd finished up here and that's why that's sitting there. As you can hear, my voice is still a bit average. I've woken up with a sore throat again this morning and a little bit more stuffed up. So like a week on, I'm still not quite right. And I was talking to my husband and he's like, just take it easy, don't worry about it. So basically, instead of standing at the quilt machine and doing a full-on quilt in one go or in 2 days, I'm going to take a week to do it instead. So so we've just got, that's it. That's all we've got to do. So now all I've got to do is the top leg of all the crosses around the window in the green, the red in the window, along the bottom of the window, the house here, and just up in here, and there's a little bit up here that I've got to do as well. So then that's finished. Basically we will move on to the next one. So we might get it done today, we might not, but that's the next one that we're going to be working on. So I'm pretty happy that I got it all done. I'm on track. I said I wanted to have this all done, and I've still got 2 days left of August. So hopefully I will get this done and I'll start the next one. Yeah, now I will warn you that my neighbours have a nail gun going at the moment and a compressor. While I can't hear the compressor, I haven't heard it click on yet. I have heard the nail gun. It's been going off, and my neighbours across the road are not in a very good mood, so they've been fighting. So it's just all fun and games at the moment. It should quieten down though. They generally don't stay too rowdy for too long. So yeah. But I tell you, I'll be glad when this is... I'm actually still really sore in the body as well. Like, it's okay when I'm doing crafty, and you can hear it when I'm breathing. I'm actually a little bit short of breath. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I didn't expect to be like fully back to full steam this week. Although I was hoping that I wasn't feeling as poorly as I am. But I'm just going to take it slow. I can't stop, because if I stop, I don't get paid. You know, because I'm self-employed and all. And so I'm just going to, we'll just work through the stuff. Do the stuff. So if a video doesn't go up, you just know that I'm not feeling the best and I just couldn't get on camera. But for the most part, it's like I'm just leaving everything set up as I can. So today I'm going to be setting up for filming. I have a couple of videos that I've got to get done this week. So that's the 2 row by row videos, which aren't going to be long, because I've done a lot of the step throughs for them. So it's not going to, it's not going to take me too long to do those. The editing is what takes the longest. But worst case scenario is I can drag my computer into my room and edit in there. I don't have to necessarily. I try not to take my work into the house because I work from home. I try to keep my work away from the house, even though it's attached to the house. But it's quite, I treat it as if I'm going to work. So during the day, I start work at 9:30 in the morning, so I can usually get some stitching in the morning if I feel up to it. But most times I just do my social media stuff in the morning. So watch any videos that have popped up overnight or key them up for that evening. I'll answer any questions that are on any of my posts that I've put up, or reply to people that have commented and in different places and stuff like that. And then, excuse me. And then, yeah, and then I'll just get on with my day. I'll get up, have a shower. I usually do that over my morning coffee. Sometimes I read over my morning coffee too. Like, I won't do any work in the mornings. It just depends how I feel in the morning. But I start work at 9:30. And the reason that I start at 9:30 is because I've always started at 9:30 because I used to walk the kids to school, and then I'd get home and that would be about 10 to 9, and I'd have a shower and, you know, get ready for the day after walking, and then I would start work at 9:30, work to 2:30, solid 5 hours of work, and then walk up to get them. And I've just kept that because then I could do after school activities and all that sort of stuff. So, and then Mia came to live with us, and so I had to keep that schedule because it was just too much to have her running around the studio and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, so basically we had her here for ages, and then she went back last year. And I'd say it's taken me a year, a good year, to get over that and get myself back into a nice headspace again. And now I'm working again. And I'm still only working in the studio. I only work 9:30 to 3:30 or 3 o'clock. And I generally just, if I've got to do any paperwork, answer any emails or anything like that, from 3:30 to 5 o'clock is when I do all that sort of stuff. And sometimes I will film or get prepared for filming the next day in that time if I've only got a couple of emails to do, which is usually not the case. But yeah, and then I'll just set up for the next day and then I'm ready to go. So when I walk into the studio, I'm not spending time setting up. I'm spending time working, if that makes sense. And yeah, but this week I was just talking to my husband then, and I just said to him, I'm going to be taking it slow because I don't feel right. I just don't feel right. Not that I'm right most of the times. But yeah, it's just, I'm still very tired. So I'll probably implement an hour's nap. I don't want to sleep any more than that, because if I sleep any more than that, knowing my luck, then I'll be up half the night because I won't be able to sleep. So I'm going to avoid that where I can. So yeah, but I'm happy that I've been getting stitching in, which is good, because I'd be devastated if I couldn't stitch, because I can't read at the moment. I've tried to pick up my books a couple of times, and even to listen to a book, I'm just not feeling it. Yeah, my brain's very fuzzy. I feel very fuzzy. So I'm just doing the bare minimum at the moment, which is, you know, it's just what I've got to do. And I'm just staying away from everybody. Everybody's keeping their distance from me. They stand at the bedroom and talk to me. Or they stand at the door and talk to me in the studio. I'm just wiping everything down and spraying everything. And I've just got to get them to do housework. I tried to do some housework the other day, and I did about 10 minutes. Had to sit down for 20. Did another 10 minutes. Had to sit down for another 20. And I'm just like, you know, and I looked at the floors, and the floors are putrid, and I'm just like, you know what? No. I'm not doing this. So I just said to the kids, you guys need to vacuum and sweep the floors and do something to them. Just clean them where you go. And yeah, I just wouldn't be able to exert myself. So, and I don't want to exert myself over floors. I don't care that much. I really don't. That it's not as if we've got babies crawling around on them or anything like that. So, and if my children are crawling around on the floor, get off the floor. That's all I've got to say. Excuse me. But I am glad that my craft room is attached to my bedroom. So anytime I want to come out here, I can come out here. But to be honest, I come out, I do a bit of filming. And that's about it. A little bit of planning. I've done a bit of planning. That's been the good thing about it. Like, I've been able to sit down and plan out the next few months of filming and stuff like that to work out a schedule. And I know that a couple of you have seen my August schedule and probably think I'm a crazy lady for doing that. But I really want to be able to get some of my crafts done. And to do that, I need to... I'll just do them as a video, and you can come along, and I'm just doing them like a vlog sort of style. So I'm not, you know, if I venture, well, I'm not venturing out at the moment, so there's not going to be any outdoor footage or anything like that. But, you know, if I venture out or anything like that to get stuff, I'll, you know, take some footage of if I go for a walk, which that ain't happening. I'll, you know, I'll take some footage of that and add that into the videos as well. But for the most part, I'm just recording what I'm doing in the studio. A lot of people seem to be interested in that sort of stuff, so I thought, well, it's a great way for me to get some stuff done as well. Like, I'm going to be able to just trying to come up to end this stitch because there's a lot of thread there to run. I'm doing a pin stitch underneath that leg, even though it's a different colour, you won't see it. Underneath that leg of that little leg of that cross is the word I'm looking for. And then I will just come up and I'll snip that off, and then we won't even see it. And though I've never had any problems with anything coming undone either doing that. There we go. And that's that thread finished. Because I didn't want to jump all the way up here. So what I'm going to do, oh, I've just got a bit of stuff on my tongue from... I'm terrible for licking my fingers and then rolling it on the end of the thread. It helps me to form the knot. But then if you've got fluff on your fingers, it tastes terrible. Not that I can taste anything either. I was just outside in the little sun that we have, where it's been overcast here today and threatening to rain all day. We did have some drizzle a little bit earlier on. Yeah, I'm standing there drinking my coffee, and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm drinking this. I can't even taste it. So I just chucked it out. At this point, I'm just taking sips of coffee so I don't get a caffeine withdrawal headache, because I don't need that on top of it. But I'm so excited that I'm on track for this. This is excellent. I'm so... Normally, I set myself a goal and I just fail to meet it. But this is definitely... I reckon that I will be definitely starting on... If I don't do it on the video right now, I'll definitely be starting this next one in the next few hours. Okay. Alright, I think that's the only place I need to go. So, I've got these ones down here. I don't want to, I can bury that, that's fine. It's going to get buried, so that's fine, I don't mind then. I don't normally like to jump that far, but when it's going to bury underneath all this and this one here, so I'm doing it. Oh, I was watching, who was I watching? I can't remember who I was watching, and I can't remember the name of it. Was that? It might have been Fat Quarter Shop. There, I seen a new, it's a new designer to me. I have not heard of them before, and I think they're called Pansy something Quilts and Stitcheries. I can't think what they were, and it's on my phone that I screenshotted it, and I'm recording on my phone, so yeah. Yeah, so anyway, I seen a new, it's called Peppermint House, but there's a series of them. I think there's 9 in total. I want to get them. I do want to get them. I went to get them, and then I thought better of it, and then I was on 123 Stitch, and then I seen them there, so I added them to my wish list. I think, no, I put them in the cart, that's right, because there's 2 that aren't there, so if I'm going to get them, I want to get the whole lot in one go, and then that way I've got them there. I don't necessarily need to start them now, but they'd be cute, and I'm thinking that I would like to do that in like a long strip, because they're all different houses. I reckon that'd be pretty neat if they were like that, and just, yeah, have it all as one long strip. And I reckon I would like to do it on like 36 count linen or something along those lines, so it makes it a little bit smaller, even 40 count maybe. That'd be pretty cool. And I can hear a few of you going 40 count. God, I can't even see. I do stitch on 18 count 8R, and I do stitch on 28 count even weave for my heights, which are 1/1, and I just use my magnifiers. So yeah, I don't let fabric beat me, so to speak. So yeah, so that's sort of, I'm thinking that I'm going to do them. But I also like, because it was Kimberly that I was doing it, and she's done different colour threads. But I do like the threads that, I cannot remember the name of the company. Oh, that's driving me mental now, and he was looking at it today too. But anyway, I reckon that would look really good. Like, they are Christmassy looking, like they're, well, it's Peppermint Lane. So there is a Christmas one, but I don't think I'd care. I wouldn't care that was up all year. There's a peppermint house, there's a gingerbread house, sugar cookies house. So you're probably screaming at your screens right now going, I know what that is. There's a Christmas house, there's a needleworker's house. Did I say gingerbread house? There's a gingerbread house if I didn't. There's a tea house. There's 9 in total. I can't remember all of them. I did pretty well to remember those ones. So that's not too bad. So yeah, so but I'm thinking that would look really, really cool as a single piece, which is making me rethink Glitter House Village, because I could possibly do, if I do them on 40 count, that's going to bring them, like, this is 16 count, and you can see how, like, that's not real big. Like, that's, what is this? This is, can't remember the width of this now. I think it's 18 by, or 19 by whatever. But, so, and if I did that, yeah, so if I did it on, well, I have to think about it. I'm thinking maybe I want to go to the higher thread counts. It'll probably take me a bit longer, but since I've found the glasses, and the glasses I'm talking about are they're just readers from the chemist, but these are a 3.5 at 3 or a 3.5, and I don't know whether you can see that on the camera or not, but It really does magnify it really, really well. And I'll just have to get my other glasses to see. I can sort of see something's happening there, but not a great deal. So, like, there you go. So that's there, and then I put the magnifier under it, and you can see it brings it right up. Okay, so that is a 3, and I'm sorry if I'm making anybody dizzy right now. That's a 3, so when you come down near see how it magnifies it really well? So I've been able to stitch on all my really hot, because I've got one piece that I'm working on, and I believe that is a 40 count, and I'm doing 1/1, and that is the Blue Flowers Sleeping Bee, which is actually going to come out very soon, because I've pulled out my samplers for September. So I've pulled out, I've got a Bristol sampler on the go, and I have pulled out Huckleberry Farm, Janet Irving by Jean Farish Needleworks, the Bristol sampler, which I cannot remember. I think it's WDC were the people that done the reproduction for it, but I can't remember the original name, the girl's name on it. And I'm doing that in purple, not in red, and I'm really liking it. Like, it's a really nice purple, and you'll see them in my floss tube and whatnot. And I've got another one that I pulled out, and I can't remember what it is now. The Jean Irving, or the Jean Farish one, the Bristol one, which is by WDC, Huckleberry Farm. Oh, and Lady Halloween I was going to pull out, because technically that is a sampler, but I think I put that back. I think that's where I'm thinking that I've got. And I figured that with those 3, they're the ones that, all the ones that I'm going to work on, along with this, in September, because it's sampler September. And I purchased one for my it's gorgeous too. When it comes in, I actually got the booklet. I didn't get it as a PDF. I got the booklet because it's going to be pretty special. And I'm also thinking of starting up my own sampler for my family. I'm going to find a really nice verse to put in there, and I'm going to look like for my favourite border. Like, I've got several favourite borders and stuff that I like to do, so I'm going to create a sampler with my family's name on it. And yeah, and that one's just going to be a work in progress. I sort of got the like, I know that originally samplers were done by little kids and at part of their learning of their needlework and stuff like that, and I'm pretty late to the party on that, but I'm thinking that I've got an idea in my head of what I want to do, and I'm thinking that I'm going to do a combination of stitches, like not just cross stitches. I'm also going to add in some fancy stitches into it as well, and do a sampler. I don't know whether it'll be little. I tend to go large on different things, but I haven't decided what fabric I'm going to do it on, and I really do want to do it on a 32 count or up. I'm thinking, excuse me, I'm thinking that I might do it on 36 count. It's just going to be, I don't know what sort of linen it's going to be, but I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but I'm thinking that I will be starting that for the new year. So I'm going into the next couple of months. I'm just going to sketch out some of my ideas and chart it out and stuff like that, and just play around. There's a particular border that I really love. I've never done it before, so I want to practice it. And it's like a satin stitch. It has a name, but I can't think of the name, and it's triangles, and it looks jagged, and I'm very much drawn to geometric stuff, and so I want to, and then I want to have the family name, and if I can find I know what my family crest is, and find Brendan's family crest, and have the crest, chart the crest out, and this is all just my thoughts at the moment. So this is stuff that's rolling around in my head. I definitely have several different borders that I really like, So I sort of want to see if these borders will complement one another. And I want to incorporate some fancy stitches, like my favourite fancy stitches and stuff like that. So essentially what I want to do, I guess I want to create a family heirloom, and have it handed down. Obviously Savannah will be in charge of that, because quite frankly I wouldn't be able to trust Dharma Jane or even Neroli with that. They'd be inclined to just chuck it. Not so much Dharma Jane. Neroli would definitely chuck it. Brendan would definitely chuck it. No sentimentality in them whatsoever. Dharma Jane has some sentimentality, but I think that she would get sidetracked, maybe lose track of it, whereas Savannah will take care of it because she's very interested in heritage, in family, all that sort of stuff. Like, I've got all on her dad's sides, family tree and all that sort of stuff. My Uncle Bruce has my side of stuff, which I have to contact him and see how I can get that all off Ancestry.com. And I want to have initials of my family members and have that on there. Not a family tree as such, but yeah, sort of, something along those lines. So I don't know what I was saying. Brennan just come out to talk cars. So anyway, oh yeah, that's right. I want to create my own sampler for like for the family and pass it down. And I think that, like, if I get the family crests and, because I've got Spanish, Portuguese heritage, but I've also got Scottish and English heritage. And I know that my uncles have done the family trees and stuff like that, so I can get all that sort of stuff. I will probably have to get in contact with one of Brendan's aunties. I think she does the genealogy for the family, and find out what their crest is, because they'll have a crest for sure. My family is linked to the Aberdeen area of Scotland, and which I only just found out recently. And my uncle has traced our family back 600 years. And yeah, so we were in the Aberdeen area. I wouldn't mind to try and find a vintage sampler from there. I guess some of you probably didn't know that I was into samplers. Like, I've not stitched many. Well, I haven't stitched any. I haven't finished any. But I'm doing, as I said, I'm doing a reproduction one, 2 reproduction ones at the moment. One is by Jean Farish Needleworks, which is, I think, her great-grandmother or something did it, Janet Irving. And then the other one is by WDC, which was in the... It was in the Gift of Stitching. I think it was in one of their last issues, second to last issue. Oh, just missed a stitch. Good on you, Nicole. So, and I'm always admiring all the samplers and stuff like that. So I am drawn to that sort of stuff. And so I thought, you know what? I came to needlework at a late age, so I'm just going to do it in my 50s instead. So I think that what I will do is I will nut out a few different, like some of my favourite borders that I like, and also some that I've sort of done myself that are floating around in my head, and ones I've been playing with on my designing software and stuff like that. And obviously I'll put my favourite alphabet in, and but I want to do like the centerpiece. I want to have the name Read in it, in my favourite font, which is a it's very antique-y looking, and I want to put something really nice around the outside, maybe with, I don't know, it'll have something. I'm very drawn to geometrical stuff, so it's going to look probably a little bit Quakerish maybe, because it'll be very, yeah. I don't know. I've got some ideas floating around in my head, And we'll see where we end up, hey? We'll end up somewhere, no doubt. Where that is, I don't know, but we'll end up somewhere for sure. And I think what I'll do is I will aim to start that for 2023. And, yeah, and I'll just have that as my primary stitch for next year. Work on that all the time. And, you know, I can add things in from my favourite charts as well. That's another thing I can do. You know, put in the year that Brendan and I aren't actually married, so I will just put in the year that we started seeing each other, because we're engaged. Maybe I should, well, that was the next year, the following year, so 2003 we got engaged. But when you've got kids and mortgages and all the rest of it, and you've been together for 20 odd years, you know, because we got together, when did we get together? 2001 or 2002? 2002 we got together. So 20 years this year. So, you know, when you've been together that long and you've got, you know, mortgages and, well, we had mortgages, we don't have the second house anymore. And you've got businesses together, and, you know, if we were to go to court and separate it, it'd be treated as if we were married. So I'll just put the, yeah, and put the, like, add the kids' dates of birth in there. I don't want to make it like a family tree, but, you know, sort of have it that it's got all the information on there. I think that'd be really neat, like, because, like, we stitch all these other designs of everybody else's. I you know, and since I've got into the designing side of things, I really like the idea of designing stuff and other people stitching it. But I also like the idea of stitching something that's going to be handed down through the family. Well, I hope it would anyway. And there's a verse that's on a lot of samplers that I really like. It's a little bit morbid, but I'm thinking it's actually one of my favourite verses that I see on samplers all the time. And I think I'm going to have to include it in there, because every time I read it, I think, oh my God, that is so, like, it's a little bit morbid, but at the same time, it's, I just love it. So, and there'll be a couple other little, like, I have a favourite quote from, that I just recently done an embroidery for, so I'll incorporate that as well, from Victor Hugo. And, yeah, there's just a couple of other things that, yeah, I just thought it'd be really neat, because, I mean, yeah, I've got all this stuff, but I think, I don't know, my thinking, because it'll be similar to those samplers that were created by those little girls that were putting down all their you know, learning their stitches and stuff like that to help them get work. And, you know, essentially those samplers were, especially the Bristol ones, they were essentially their resume for their stitching and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, like, not that this will be my resume or anything like that, but it'd be nice to have something that the girls can look back on, and it can be passed down, what I would hope, through the generations. So, yeah, that is my plan at the moment. Gee, that was a tough little nut to get in. And come up here and snip that out. There we go. All right, now what do I need? I need cherry tomato, I think it is. Yep. All right. There's a little bit of floss for my back stitching. Oh, always the way. Just broke me card. Supposed to be able to pull it out. Never works for me. But anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, that is the plan. So I'm going to aim towards that. I've got another, I've also I'm going to be doing, with any luck, I'm hoping that I'll be starting in January. I'm going to do a stitch along that is called Mima's Quilt. And it's coming along. I'm still in the design process, so I'm going to be stitching my little butt off to get the first lot done. So yeah, it's going to be cool. I actually really like it. I really love the border that I've put on it too. I'm a big fan of the border. The border took me a bloody little bit to work out, but I got there in the end. I'll tell you, it was charting. No, that's not right. My math on this particular week that it took me about a week and a half to work on it. And it was one that just sort of it was coming to me and like this particular design was coming to me, and the border is what I was working on. I had to scrap it so many times. Like, you wouldn't believe. It was almost ridiculous. All right, where am I going to put this waist knot? I think I'm going to have to put it about there. Yeah, so it was quite amusing. I'm like, no, that's not right. I didn't count that right. Nope, didn't count that right. Rub it out, start again. Scrap that page because I rubbed right through that page. And it took me ages. And it was because I kept getting interrupted, which didn't help at all. And then when I managed to sit down for a while and get to it, I managed to sort it out. But in the end, I was just like, I was going mental because it was just doing my head in. Because I was trying to work out the size of what each section needed to be and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. So I've got lots of little things happening in the background that's going on. And all right, I did have a question while I'm here about me. Normally, I don't map out on my fancy floss, but there's not much of a variegation in this cherry tomato, so I'm just treating it like a normal floss, like a normal DMC, because normally my DMCs, I will do the half leg, and with my fancy floss, so, all right, let me rephrase that. So they do actually have a name. So when you do half a leg like I've done here, and then you come back onto it, that's the Danish method. When you do a full cross, that's the English method. And then there's a third method that I use when I'm stitching in hand, which is the Victorian method, which is working from, instead, because normally I work from a left to right as if I'm reading a page. And then if I do the Victorian method, I work this way, and it's mostly when I'm working in hand. I do that, which I don't do often anymore. So most of the time I'm either doing a full cross or I'm doing the Danish method, which is half a cross and then you go back. A lot of people call that traveling journey stitching, whatever, but it's actually Danish and English. So when I'm working with DMC, I tend to do Danish stitching, cross stitches. When I'm working with fancy floss, I tend to do English cross stitches because that's one cross at a time. And then sometimes I can be working with just DMC and I'll do one cross at a time. It does really depend on my mood. And I am really terrible for switching it up while I'm in one piece, and I've got to get better at just doing either one method in one. But see, sometimes you just can't help it. You got to do the other one. And I never expect my backs to be perfect either. I don't go for that full-on perfect looking. I just want to enjoy my stitching and not get hung up about what's happening on the back. I mean, don't get me wrong, I try to make it as neat as possible, and I bury my threads where I can, like I've buried this thread here. Like this is all going to be buried under, and like I've put it there, but I started over here, so it's getting buried underneath there. So that will be fine. It's not going to come undone. I try to, with my frames, because my tabletop frame and even my floor frame, I try to work just from the top so I don't have to keep flipping over. And that sort of came out of necessity because of the fact that I was on camera and I had all these threads that I needed to finish, and I had to keep either stopping the video or you come through the trip of me weaving it and all the rest of it, and then trying to get it back into the correct position so I could stitch. So to avoid that, I started doing like the pin stitch, like you've seen me ending up here, and that's just like a little weave that you do, and it doesn't come undone because I can even rub the back where I've done those and it doesn't come undone, and I hide that underneath the stitches. Other times, I'll do like here, this one here was from here. I can cut that off now because it's been buried underneath everything. So, but that's like a little waist that I've done, like the waist knots here. I've just finished there. So sometimes you can come and see my work and I'll have threads hanging out everywhere. I need to get a bit neater at it. but it just gets buried underneath, and then I don't have to worry about weaving it or anything like that. So that's sort of what I do. But if I need to weave something, I obviously flip it over and weave it. But I like the waist knot and the waist thread ending. It just makes it easier. I don't have to fuss about the back. And the good thing is though, like even if I've got this over here, I can still trim that where it's been buried. And I'm not going to have it come undone or anything because it's been buried under 3 rows on the diagonal in this case. And yeah, so it just saves me a step. As I said, I don't care if I've got a little bit of a mess on the back. Does not faze me at all. Now, I did see one earlier. Oh, I think I've already got it. No, I've got it. That's cool. Just making sure. So, yeah, that's why I try to work on the top of my fabric, because I figured, you know, if I work on the top, it's less flipping I have to do, and then I don't have to worry about it, you know, accidentally being out of focus or not in frame properly. So once I set up, it's set up. And if you want to see what my setup looks like, last Monday I actually did a Instagram post, and also I think I might have even done a community tab, I can't remember, for my setup and what it looks like. It's not very attractive, but it works. You guys can see it. Like if I turn my little lights off, that's one light. You can see how dark it is. But just for turning that little extra light on, I have all those lights around me illuminating it, and then I've got a little light really close to it, and that illuminates it even more. And it just makes it, it makes it really easy for me to see, but it makes it clear for you guys to see as well, which is awesome. And yeah, but how exciting. We're going to be finished, except for the back stitching, of course, but that's okay. I'll just wait until I pull, because the back stitching is in this colour thread. Oh no, it's in hickory, and I've hickory sticks, and I don't have any hickory sticks, so I'll wait until I'm using that, and then I'll use the leftovers to, did I have that? No, that's that lighter brown. And as I said, there's a little bit of white back stitching on those little mugs, so I will sort that out when I'm finished up here, because once I'm finished doing those snowflakes and the snow along the top on the next one, I'll have enough left to just do a couple of little back stitches, and then instead of firing up a whole new thread just for that. So I was having a look at my whips the other day, and I think I talked about this on my Flosstube as well, but if you haven't seen that, I've got a few that are pretty damn close to finishing. So they have all been put in a pile, and they're the ones that I'm going to be really working hard on. So as I was saying, with Sampler September, which is coming up, I'm going to be working on those samplers that I've pulled out. And so I don't know whether I'm going to work on all three. I don't think I'm going to work on Lady Halloween. I think I might leave that for October and work on her during the month of October. But the other samplers that I've got, which are Huckleberry Farm, the Bristol sampler, and the one from Jean Farish Needleworks, which is called Janet Irving. I think with those ones, what I'm going to do is I generally don't cross stitch on a Friday after a floss tube. I very rarely cross stitch on a Friday. So what I'm thinking that I'm going to do is I'm going to dedicate two stitching sessions to each one of them a week. So I'll spend, and that can be anywhere from an hour to 5 hours depending on the day. So and how I'm feeling. So sometimes I'll sit down and watch a couple of hours of TV with Brendan because he feels neglected if I don't. And then I'll go into the bedroom where I'm set up now, and I can sit in the bedroom. I usually put a book on, a classic or something like that, and listen to that. So my reading month has been absolutely horrendous this month. I didn't get to Oliver Twist. I didn't get to the Wheel of Time, the third installment. I haven't finished the second installment. Oh no, I finished the second installment, sorry. I finished that just before I got sick. I didn't get to the third installment of the Farseer trilogy, and I didn't get to Passage. Now, all of those books, apart from, and I haven't finished A Little Life, which I'm about halfway through, and I'm still really bored. I'm actually thinking that I'm just going to DNF it because it's just not doing it for me. I don't know what everybody's going on about. It's absolute crap at this point. But Savannah keeps assuring me that it's a good book. She goes, it really does. It's a slow burn. So that's why I'm pushing through. But I'm about halfway through that now, a little less than halfway. When I might pick it up again this week, see how I go. But, yeah, I've got it on audio, so I might just actually listen to it and do some stitching. But the other 4 books that I didn't even crack to read, I'm going to endeavour to read them this month, September, or coming month. But I've also got Jane Eyre to read, so I think that my classics are going to take precedence. I definitely want to move on with Wheel of Time. I want to move on with that one. I've got to do the review for the second one because I've finished that now. And I've got a couple of other reviews that I've got to do as well, but I have to write them up, and my Gone with the Wind review got corrupted as well, so I've got to refilm that now. And it was such a good review too. Luckily, I've still got my notes, so I can just, I can talk about that as well. So I've still got quite a number. I've got a haul video that I've got to do for the book channel as well. I've got quite a bit of stuff I've got to do for that. I'm definitely, it's definitely just going to go up when it goes up. I'm not going to push it. I've still got Silas Mana that I've got to edit. I've done the review for that, but I just haven't been up to editing it. So I will probably get to that slowly this week. And get that all up and everything. So if you want to follow me over on Dusty Book Sniffers to see what books I'm reading, by all means head over. I was going to talk about 2 books that I've read in the last few months, or in this year anyway. I've read them this year. I don't know when I read them, but I've read them this year. One was Gone Girl and one was Girl on a Train, and the movies are on Netflix for those. I was going to talk about the movies, but yeah, I didn't really get to do much watching of videos last week. I sort of slept a lot. So I did more stitching because I was in bed. And so, yeah, So this week I'm going to endeavour to at least watch one of those, and I'll probably talk about that next week. I've got a fair bit on this week that I've got to work through. Like, it's not, normally it'd only be the first 3 days of work, but I'm spreading it out over the next 6 days. So, because I don't want to wreck myself, so I'm just going to stretch it out over the next 6 days. So I'm basically just doing a bit at a time. My filming of the videos isn't too hectic. It's the sitting there editing. I start to fall asleep because I've got to sit there. So I might end up dragging my computer into the bedroom and sorting that out in there where I'm comfortable. And if I nod off, I nod off. It doesn't matter. You can hear my voice. I'm starting to like wheeze. Sound like my mum. She's an asthmatic. All right. So yeah, I just want to take it, as I was saying, I just want to take it nice and slow and not stress that I've got to get this stuff done. As I said, I'm going to load a quilt up tomorrow, and that's probably all I'm going to do is load it up, because that's probably the hardest part about quilting, is wrestling with the batting, the backing and all that sort of stuff to get it onto the machine. And like I got to get down on the floor and like clean all the machine and the tracks and make sure there's no fluff there and all that sort of stuff. So that's probably going to take me the better part of tomorrow morning to do. And then I will have a break for an hour or so, have a cup of tea, have some lunch, something like that. Maybe even have a nap, and then I will come out and I've got a couple of extra lights, and I will start filming the row by row and the weekly tutorial, because I was supposed to film this past week a heap of tutorials, but I'm only just going to film one. It's gonna be me chasing my tail for a little bit. It's gonna feel like that, but I'm not gonna let it get to me. Most of my crafting videos that I put up will get filmed at some stage during the day, and the day before, as you know, I film the day before. Sometimes I film on the day, but it's generally the day before. And yeah, and then I can just edit them that night. It doesn't take long to edit them. I really try hard not to swear when something goes wrong. Tutorials take the longest. These craft videos, they still take a little time, but they don't take as long as tutorials do, because sometimes in a tutorial I might be stitching and make a mistake and then I've got to unpick. I don't stop the recording. I just keep it going and then cut that bit out. And that sort of, yeah, it makes it a little bit easier to edit, as opposed to having like 40 different videos. I struggle with that. I'd just rather have one continuous one. I sit down and I start watching it, and then I cut it and I put all the bits in it, like the screen things in it and all that sort of stuff. So the first time I load it in, I put it all in. Sometimes I might have 2 or 3, and I'll put it in, and then I will in sequence, and then I will start from the beginning and watch. So the intro and the outro are always separate, so they're fine. They just go at the beginning and they go at the end, and then I put the stuff in between, and then I will go in and start watching it, and then I start taking things out. So if I sneeze, sometimes I don't take the coughs out because I forget to, but if I sneeze or if I drop something or I've forgotten to grab something, I'm getting better at pausing the video, but I have been caught out in the past where I've thought I've paused it, and then when I've come back, I've hit the pause button again, so it starts to record again, and I haven't hit it. I've thought I have and I haven't. So this camera is a lot better than my old camera. My old camera I used to struggle to see. This one, the timer is illuminated by a red circle around it. So if I can't see that red circle, I know I'm not recording. So it makes it a little bit easier at a glance. I haven't had that problem with this one, but my last one, there was a couple of tutorials that I ended up having to redo because I thought I filmed and I didn't. I filmed the first 5 minutes of it, but you just didn't know how it ended. I mean, it's different when I'm looking at the camera doing a floss tube, or, you know, even the Stitch With Me, the camera's right at my nose. So I can sort of glance up and I can blurrily see what's going on because I'm really close with the magnifiers, so it gets a bit blurry. But yeah, so tutorials always take a bit longer. These sort of videos, not so much. Sit properly. There we go. It's a bit better. So, yeah, the crafting videos aren't going to be too bad. I think I'll be fine to do those. And for the most part, you know, like I'm sitting down to do those. The hardest part is the setup. So if I can leave the area set up, and I've got a spare cutting mat, so what I'm going to do is clear a space off up near my ironing station, and I'm just going to have that as my cutting station until I'm better, because that way I can leave my filming station all set up. I mean, originally that's what I wanted to do, but my filming station ended up becoming my cutting station as well, because there's a light directly over the top on the ceiling, so when I'm cutting stuff it's really good, but right now it's not working for me. And it's at a really good height for cutting and everything, the benches, so I don't want to go and get a little trestle table and be hunching over my work, because that doesn't work either. It's yeah, that ends up, at the end of the day, I'm in a lot of pain with like from hunching. So your back gets really sore across your shoulder blades and stuff like that, get really sore when you hunch all the time, so I don't like to do that. That's why I've had the benches raised. But I will say, in the next studio that I build, I will have my cutting station in the center of the room, and it will be at one height, and then the sewing machines where they will be at another height. So it'll be a very much tiered sections. So wherever I've got to do, it'll be like, you know, when you get a sunken lounge room, it'll be like that, except it'll be a sunken sewing bench. Because I'm so short, the chairs that I've got now are great. They're really comfortable and all the rest of it, but I've still got to have like a little footstool to put the presser foot on. The foot controller, sorry, not the presser foot, for the sewing machine, and it's comfortable, but it's not very comfortable. So I'd like to be able to sit in a nice chair that is at the correct height, instead of a chair that's, well, these are essentially bar stools that I'm on, but they lift up and down. They've got a air lift in them. So yeah, so they work really well because I can pull them up really high to do my Stitch With Me, which gets me at the right level for you guys. So this looks flat to you. It's not on an angle, whereas last week's was a bit on an angle. So I set this flat. It's a little bit hectic on the right arm because I'm holding that up, but I can lean on it to give it a bit of rest. That's why I keep taking a break. And I also try to move my arm away if I'm not stitching, so I can just relax my shoulder so I'm not holding it up. Not many stitches to go. I'll stick around until I've got this done, and then I won't start stitching the next one, but this one, all but the back stitch is done now. That's it of this one. Once I'm finished these little stitches down here, which is what, about 20-30 stitches. Not many at all. I'm super excited. I'm really, really excited to create that little sampler. You know, who knows? In 200 years, if the earth is still here, someone might, you know, come across my needlework and it'll get be a reproduction. Who knows? Just don't know where your stuff's gonna end up. This is, I have made heaps of progress on this. I'm pretty happy. Considering when I started doing it, like I had only done that one, and I started at the beginning of the year, and I'd only done that one, and in the last, or this month, I think in July I started this, wasn't it? I finished this, and that was mid-July, I think, that I decided that I was going to do this as a stitch with me. I have to go back and have a look at that. And so, yeah, so basically I've got this done pretty much in the last 6 weeks, which is good. And I only been working on it on the days that, like, for the most part, I'd only been working on it for the stitch with me. And now what I'm doing each Sunday, this pretty much becomes the stitch that I stitch on for the Sunday. So I get up in the morning, I do whatever I've got to do, and then I just sit down and get some stitches in, and I'm thinking that that's helping me get through the bits and pieces that I've got. I think it's going to help me get through what I need to get through. I had a look through all my kits and stuff the other day. Yeah, I don't have a lot of charts in there. Like, everything I own has pretty much been started. I've got it. Like, I still have a fair chunk of change of kits and stuff in there. But they're kits. Like, they've got their floss and everything in there. So as I'm getting lower and lower in my, I'm trying not to start anything until I get my whips down, and I've got down to, I counted them, and I'm down to 52. So at the beginning of the year, I did UFO some, and I've UFO'd a couple of heights. I've talked about this on my Flosstube, and I had I said I had 5 or 6 on the go. I actually have 7 on the, I actually have 11 on the go, and I've just basically, there's a couple that only had a couple of like, in the scheme of things, it was like having 2 stitches in it, but it had a couple of 100 stitches in it. I've since decided that I'm just going to pull those stitches out, because the ones that I've got are huge, and I want to basically work on them as much as I can. So I'm going to put them into a rotation and work on them at least once or twice a week. So you'll get to see a fair few heights. That's it. We've got no more stitches, so I'll finish this off. And yeah, so I've got myself, I had a few that I just wasn't feeling anymore. I wasn't going to stitch them. They were sitting there doing nothing. In a couple of cases, I just sent the fabric and the pattern, and they were paper patterns, and the pattern and everything that was with it to the person that it now has it, and they were very, very grateful for it. And yeah, and then there was a heap of other ones that I got in boxes and stuff like that I started, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling this, so I just sent the fabric, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. And that's the risk that you sort of take with those mystery boxes as well. So yeah, all right, that's it, we're done. No more stitches to go in there, and I'll just double check. I've been known to miss stuff. No, they're all got their legs. No, but that's it. It's done. It looks really good. I've just got to put as I said, the back stitch in, and then, but I'll wait until I'm doing the roof of this I think the next one's got, where has it gone? Let me just have a look what we've got in the next one. It's got hickory sticks in it for sure. So when I'm doing the wheels, I'll have some left over. And I will do I'll make sure that this is done so I can do popsicles, and then I can do the hot chocolate on this one. But that's yeah, that's awesome. It's all done now. So yeah, as I was saying, I basically I've got it down to 52. It was 51, but with the extra hay that I forgot about, which was Magic Study by Amy, can't think, but anyway, it's beautiful, and I don't want to UFO that. So yeah, I'm at 52. So not bad, 52. I'm 52 as of Saturday, and I've got 52 whips. So by the end of the year, I should be down a few more, because I'm hoping that I'm going to end up smashing this out by the end of the year, because I'm using this for my Stitch With Me, and this is what we're going to be looking at. So as I've said in other videos, if you've got this and you haven't finished it yet, pull it out. Let's stitch along together every Monday, and then that way you'll get it done as well. You're probably further along than I am, but if you're just starting it, doesn't matter, come and join us. This will go until, and it might not be finished by the end of the year. This will go until it's finished. So I would love for you to join me every Monday for that. I've got Cinnamon Stars, which is more than halfway through. I've only got one side of the house, the stars from the chimney, and I think it's the pumpkins and corn to do on that. If the corn is anything like the sunflowers, it's going to go super quick. And there's a few other ones that are really close to finishes and stuff like that I just want to really get in and get done. Like Halloween Quaker, that will get done in October, because I'm planning on spending an hour on that every day. It probably doesn't even have 31 hours left in it. You know, when you equate it an hour a day over a month, that's 31 hours. So yeah, so I do have a little bit of work to do on that one, so I may have to spend a little bit of extra time on that. But yeah, so I've got that. That's almost finished. Then I've got 4 small ones. One's a little mouse, which should be done. I'm just lazy. I've got a backstitching to do on a steampunk Dalmatian. That's almost done. And a little bit of filling in on the hat. That's almost done. It's probably only got about 3 hours of stitching left in it. And these are all ones that I can get done. There's other ones that I'm working on that I decided to do in one piece, but they're little bites of like they're little charts like these, so they're going to get done a lot quicker as well. Whether they get done by the end of the year or not, that's a whole different story. But I'm pulling out stuff that is really close to a finish and just smashing that out. And when I'm pulling that stuff out, I'm having a look at other stuff that's, you know, maybe a quarter of the way done and getting stitches into that. So that's the plan. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'll be down to 45, maybe 42 by the end of the year. I'd really love it if I was down to 42 by the end of the year, because that means that I've knocked off a lot this year. And not to mention all the things that I've been doing for the magazine, like some of the stuff I've been sending off, but there's been a few cross stitches that I've done as well. You know, so there's been a lot that I've done, but I'm going to call it a day. Yeah. And so I will see you next week when we start Popsicle Cart. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope that you enjoyed this stitch along and you got some stitches in yourself. I'd like to thank everybody for all the well wishes and all the happy birthdays that I got. Thank you so very much. Made me feel very loved indeed. As I said, I will continue working on this until we are finished it, and we are powering through it now. So let's hope by the end of September we're moving on to the next block after the Popsicle Cart. I've had a lot of fun today, and I hope you have too. If you've made it this far, leave me a snowflake down below in the comments. Tell me what you were working on, or if you just sat back and relaxed. And as always, if you are new here and you've made it this far, or even a returning viewer, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you're not going to miss out on any future uploads. But that's it from me today. Have a wonderful day. Get lots of stitches in, and I will see you all again next time. Bye for now.